Hi there, gang, and welcome to the Our Stress-Free Wedding Show. We're just going to go with show. I've given up podcast.
It's a show.
It is a show. I even changed it on the platform. If you go to ourstressfreewedding.com, which you should, I changed it to Our Stress-Free Wedding TV.
Good.
So we are official TV stars to your mom, my mom, and our 10 other dedicated viewers.
We're like D-list celebrities right now.
I don't even know if we've made it into the letter D yet. If this is your first time watching, first of all, thank you. And welcome to ourstressfreewedding.com. So if you don't know, or you have a memory as long as mine and you need to be reminded as to what we are an Iowa-based wedding planning platform. And what we focus on is wedding professionals. On the platform, you have the ability to create your own webpage, and you can do RSVPs through there. You can do hotel accommodations through there. You can do budgets through there. You can do timelines. There's all kinds of great assets that are available to you through the platform as well. But the main thing that we've been focusing on as we've been just kind of launching, as we've been really just kind of getting started in this past year or so, is focusing on the wedding professionals. Focusing on your vendors is the technical term, and I'm just never going to be able to stop
Wedding
not saying
professionals,
that.
the pros.
I know, but it's the people that make the difference on your day. Our goal is to help make your day as absolutely stress-free as possible. And I've been in the wedding business for over 30 years, and I always feel really old when I say that. It's just, it's good for
I just turned 33, so
I have been in the wedding business longer than Andrew's been alive.
No.
You've been saving that 34 years.
Oh, okay.
I've been doing it since.
Wow.
Thanks.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for coming. Great show. Have a wonderful day.
Yep.
I have to take a nap. But what I've learned through the years is the couples that can relax and enjoy their day, can actually enjoy the reception, because trust me, I have seen plenty of, and I'm sure you have too.
Yeah.
I have seen plenty of couples that literally miss their own wedding because they are so stressed out about, what's the photographer doing? What's the DJ doing? What's the caterer doing? When is this going to happen? When is that going to happen? And they're freaking out about all of these things that should be taken care of by your professionals. And so what we've done with ourstressfreewedding.com is we have been approaching wedding pros all over the state, and we've turned it into kind of a by invitation only platform, really, because what we've been doing is we've been researching all of the people that you see on the platform. So when you go to our founding vendors page and you look through all of them that are on there, and we add more every week, so check back often. Best way to do that, actually,
like and subscribe.
if you like and subscribe. That way you stay up to date on stuff. But what we've done with all of them is we have done kind of full checks on their quality. We have had conversations with them. We have looked at their reviews, or in a lot of cases, like for example with Jake from Marathon Videography, who is with us today, we've worked with him a whole bunch. Not only do we own ourstressfreewedding.com, I also own ultimateentertainment.cc. Ultimate Entertainment is one of the largest DJ services in the state of Iowa. We have been in business since 1992, 91. In the early 90s is when we started.
The late 1900s.
The late 1900s. Yes. Way back then, we started with CDs.
Yeah.
Was what we had to start with, which is a huge step up from what I started with as a mobile DJ years before that, was cassettes. For those of you at home that don't know what the word cassette is, Google it. Trust me, you'll laugh when you think a mobile DJ service used these things. Yes, it was terrible. But what I've learned over these years is finding the right professionals, and someone like Jake. Let's bring Jake in. Mr. Bus, what's happening?
Hey, how we doing?
It is so great to have you on the show there, my friend. Jake is someone that always, absolutely. For the record, Jake stood us up. We had adult beverages for him to enjoy after the show.
Compliments of
Bar Candy, which is one of our other vendors, and one of the shows that we had a while back. When he comes back, and we talked about this, now he wants to come back. He's like, dude, we'll do another show. I'm like, yes. But now you heard what I was talking about, Jake. Would you agree? It is the professionals that are involved with the couple's day that make or break their reception or their day as a whole, and especially like in your position as a videographer, you're doing potentially everything. I mean, from getting ready to the ceremony to the reception, you've got pretty much everything there. So the freak out factor that a couple could have by having a subpar videographer is potentially very high. You, on the other hand, is someone that, trust me, if you hire Jake from Marathon Videography, you're based out of Charles City, you're not going to regret it. He's really good at what he does, and he's going to tell us right now, why are you really good at what you do?
Well, it really helps that I've been doing it a long time, just like yourself. Not as long as you, Sean, but this will be the 9th year of our business, which I'm really excited about. And it's crazy that it's been that long. And I've been doing weddings since probably 2012, 2013. Mm-hmm. So I've seen all different types of weddings, types of couples, all that kind of stuff. So,
but that's one of the great things is that there are, there's so many different levels of receptions of couples. We've done successful weddings before as a DJ service, and and as a DJ service, you want to see people dancing. That's, as the DJ, you're like, everybody needs to dance, or you start to freak out. I have done very successful weddings with very low key couples that they weren't dancers. They just, I could have thrown $100 bills out on the dance floor. No one's going to dance, So what you're saying, with your experience, Jake, is that you are able to learn from so many different styles or backgrounds or, kinds of couples to help adjust to better do the next wedding that you work with. Is that fair to say?
And to kind of go off that, it's really important to know who you're working with. And, when I go to a reception and I see you, Sean, like I know the party's going to be rocking.
Aww.
So
see, that's why he's on the show.
I just know I'm going to get good footage, and it's just so important. And to have a good relationship with you also, like just to be in contact with you. Hey, what's going on? And all this kind of stuff. That's where I get my best footage. And working with photographers and just, coordinators and all that stuff, because I'm working with a lot of people during the day.
Right.
And I'm making sure I'm on schedule, and just communication is key throughout the day.
Oh, it's huge. And, communication with all of the different professionals. Like you said, like one of the things that a good videographer will do is you will tie into the DJ's sound system. Like when you come, you bring a very nice digital recorder and you plug into our board. And so now you're capturing the sound, not from the mic that's on your camera, but you're capturing sound right from our system. So toasts, or the ceremony, first dances, and any of those kind of big moments where it's important to kind of know what's going on or to be heard, whether it's the couples or guests or what have you, I think is huge. So let's talk a little bit about the equipment that you use, because I remember the last wedding you and I did together. I think I was loaded in, set up, and ready to go in like 15 minutes, and Jake's still carrying in. You bring a ton of really cool toys. So at somebody's reception, it's not just you walking around with a camera, right? I mean, talk about what's kind of your process for that. What do couples have options as to 1, 2, 3? 4 cameras? Do they have the option for nope, just one camera and I'm good? How does that work in the planning process when someone's looking for a videographer?
Yeah, so that's kind of a loaded question. So because it kind of deals with what my package. So I only do one package now, and it kind of deals with the entire day. So you're not getting like 2 cameras and you have to pay extra for more. So usually I'm bringing 4 to 5 cameras to cover a wedding. And I know I don't think there's a lot of videographers that use that many cameras, but I like to have that many cameras to have different angles, because that's what's important to me. So it's not having one shot be really, really good, but it's more having multiple shots that I can choose from, and it makes your wedding feel a little different, because I like to have a wide shot. I like to have a close-up shot, that kind of thing. So to make sure capturing emotion and people's faces, and also getting people on the dance floor, or for the ceremony, I'm getting people's reaction to your vows, what your parents are reacting to, and there'll be people crying, and I've got a nice close-up shot of each, the bride and groom, and I've also got a wide shot. So that's really important to me, and I think that makes me a little different than other videographers.
Oh, 100%. And let's talk about, obviously you can't hold all four cameras at once. So when you set up, how does that all work? Can you kind of explain, where you're placing the cameras, and are they recording individually or do they record to a central site, or, how do you capture everything and then kind of edit everything down from there? How does that work?
So for having that many, so usually I have 4 cameras, especially during ceremony reception, just so I can have a bunch of different angles. And it also gives me a chance for backups. I like to have backups because, it's your wedding. I don't want to lose your footage. And if one camera decides to a battery die or something like that, something goes wrong, I always have a backup for that. So, and because I don't want to lose your footage, and that's really the most important thing. So if I have 1 or 2 cameras and I have one camera that goes out, then, it's going to be hard to cover everything. So.
Sure, absolutely. I think that makes perfect sense. And I think it's so much more, because I've seen videographers that will use just a single camera, and it's just not a whole lot to that. You just the couple's going to watch it once and it's done. What you do is really an immersive experience where you're really capturing the entire event for everything. Let's start at the beginning of the day. So when, like you said, you've got kind of one package that works for everything, and you've got the ability for drone footage too, right?
Yep. So we are a licensed drone pilot, and and we really like what the drone offers. Just give us a different perspective, especially if you've booked an amazing venue. Like, you want to see that from the sky, like, because some of these venues are just getting to be really amazing. So,
100%. Oh, that's awesome. And we've got your website up, and we've got one of the videos playing right now that people can just kind of see in the background here, which is it's just cool, because you do more with some of the after effects where you get into like slow motion, and you get into just blending the footage together. I just think that's awesome. So when you're meeting with a couple and they're just starting out, one of the things that I talk a lot about is, when a couple gets engaged, it's like instantly they have to become experts in the wedding industry. They need to know what to look for in all of the most important people working to make their biggest day perfect. So when you sit down and talk with a couple, what is the process? How does the process kind of go? When someone first walks in, how do you walk them through what you do?
I think a big key first when working with a couple, and I think with any wedding vendor, is communication. And that's really what I strive for, is making sure that they know what's going on, and, keeping updated, and, when is our next meeting going to be, and then also figuring out what their style is and making sure I'm asking the right questions. Like, do you want a slow, cinematic video, or do you want happy and upbeat? What kind of songs do you like? And that kind of thing. I asked them, what songs are they going to play at the reception, and that kind of thing. So.
Okay, so it's really an involved process through the whole thing, where you get into, like you'd mentioned, music. Now, that didn't even cross my mind, asking what kind of music they like for the reception, or what kind of vibe they're feeling that way, because that would impact how you shoot, how you edit, how you put everything together. Does that impact how you do with placement of cameras too, or how much of their information really helps you going forward on the day of to give them the best possible product that you can?
Yeah, and it's also just learning about them. And I, you know, I have all this fancy equipment and cameras and audio, but really I'm a storyteller. I'm trying to figure out who they are, and that's what I call myself. I'm a storyteller. Like if I don't, my goal is to capture their day in the way that the style that they want, and also being able to edit that together and really capture who they are, because that will hit home way more than anything. I'm not all I you know, I love the fancy, getting the great shot, you know, getting that, just that, you know, the golden hour shot and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's more than that. It's about telling their story. Because if I can get those cool shots, you know, but if it doesn't tell their story, then I failed, I guess. So
No, I think you're exactly right, and you're looking at it from really a perfect perspective, because you are. I mean, something that I always tell couples, aside from being married, which is kind of the obvious thing, but when the reception's done, your day is complete. You've got two things really to go back on, and one would be your photographer, and so you have to have the right photographer. But you, with the videography, by telling their story, by putting their story together, really gives the couples a chance to, I would say, see things about their own reception that they missed, because you're going to be capturing so many different moments, and the couple's in the middle of this chaotic moment, being surrounded by friends and family, and everybody's celebrating, and there's so much going on around them. You're on the outside capturing that and giving them the opportunity to really see and experience their day, right?
oh yeah, it's a little different than photography, I would say. But the photographer is really there leading the day, and usually my biggest communication is with the photographer, and we're pretty much a tag team throughout the day, and making sure, and back to communication, I'm communicating with the photographer even if I haven't met them before the wedding even starts. I try to contact them a week before, just making sure that we're on the right page. Hey, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to let you do your thing, but I might try to get in for shots and all that kind of stuff. They want to get certain types of shots, so we should really focus on that and that kind of thing. So
absolutely. And one of the neat things about the entire platform at ourstressfreewedding.com is that we have built into the system a communication hub. And this was kind of looking to the future as we begin to add more and more wedding pros to it, and as we begin to have more and more couples registering with us. What this communication system does is it allows not only communication between the couples and their individual wedding pros, it also allows communication between all of the wedding professionals. So if Jake is working with a photographer that's also part of Our Stress Free, he can reach out to them through the messaging hub and have all of that communication in one place. And the neat thing is, in my opinion, and kind of the main reason that we built that, aside from it's good to have communication, but it's also, I think it's peace of mind for the couples. Knowing that communication hub is there, knowing that the vendors that they found through Our Stress-Free Wedding have access to that, will put the bride's mind at ease, knowing that level of communication is available to both the photographer, the videographer, the venue, the DJ. So everybody is on the same page going into a couple's big day. Communication, and Jake, you've mentioned it numerous times now, how important communication is to making everything successful. I mean, your communication with the couples to find out what kind of vibe they want and what kind of feel they want for their day, and then your communication with the photographer, you're exactly right. Having you guys kind of work almost in tandem to, they're capturing the stills, you're capturing the moment where you're capturing the video of everything, really makes a giant impact on the final product for the couple's reception, or I guess ceremony and reception together, correct?
yeah, and there's so many stories I've heard of wedding vendors just like, oh, I called them a week before and they never got back to me, or I don't know when I'm going to get my photos, or, things like that. And, I even had a bride one time, they got their cake. They weren't able to get their cake on their wedding day or something, because they weren't communicating with them.
Ugh.
And which is crazy to me, because I try to get back to all my brides, within a day if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's like, oh, so, we're falling behind on your video, but at least we're communicating with them and letting them know and making them feel safe. Like, oh, we're not putting you, you're not another client. You're very important to us. So
It's peace of mind, really.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And communication is the key to all of that, because, and in your position as a videographer, your communication continues after the wedding is done, because you've got editing and you've got all of the stuff that goes into it post. So, keeping them in the loop even beyond their big day, I think would be huge. It was Katie from Mojo Productions brought up a great point, and it was that for all of us in the industry, it's Saturday. It's our job. It's how things go. We've got this down. We don't worry about it because we know what's coming. But when a bride or a groom or a couple have a question, like you said, you try to get back to them within a day or two, because for them, that question is, keeping them awake at night. That's what's stuck in their head at that moment. I had a bride call me yesterday who told me that she had dreamt about their grand entrance. Like she's dreaming about it.
Interesting.
And she, in her dream, it all just went to hell. It went horribly bad. A little pre-wedding jitters. And so she called me that next day, and she's like, "Talk to me about the grand entrance." I'm like, "No problem. We can walk through everything." But it's that communication that keeps that peace of mind for the couple, but it also is a giant degree of professionalism on your part talking about that. Like you had mentioned, the cake person. I mean, oh my gosh, can you imagine showing up at your wedding, no cake?
What do you do?
I mean, or showing up at your wedding.
I was shocked.
Local donut shop, maybe? Or
Yeah. They're like, "Oh, I got your day wrong. They had the wrong week. They had the wrong weekend."
Which
like,
it clearly tells me that particular cake person didn't bother to reach out to that couple, the week before, 2 weeks before, a month before. Obviously, they didn't think about it. And that, by itself is crazy.
Yeah.
Like for you, when you go ahead.
And that's important for me, because you can see photographers and videographers as almost, a lot of people see it as the same, but we're very, very different.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, I already have my photographer. Do I need to get a videographer? Or, isn't it kind of the same thing? But where was I going with this?
Well, I think a giant part of the difference, and I think you brought it up, is that you're telling the story, and the photographer's telling the story too, because they're telling it in stills, and they capture individual moments, and really good photographers are really good at capturing individual, special moments. You are capturing the day and telling their story, and so in my opinion, there is a massive difference between a photographer and a videographer. Yes, you're both using cameras, and that's about where it stops. And even that isn't the same, because your video there still.
Well, and then you also have to think about audio, because half a video is audio. So we have to capture reading letters and picking out the right music and such. And but for what I was going to say before, as far as photography and communicating, and so I don't usually get to do an engagement session with my couples, so it's really important to meet with them beforehand, because that's the photographer usually is doing the engagement session, and gets to meet them and gets to know their personality. So that's really important for me. And just having that pre-wedding meeting to make sure everything's in line, even though we might have emailed back and forth and be like, oh yeah, everything seems to be all right. But I like to be very thorough and be like, okay, let's break it down by, the hour and figure out where am I going to be at when and all that kind of stuff. So.
Well, absolutely. And, having everything on track, especially knowing their timeline is huge. One of the things that we always talk about from the DJ side is I very rarely, if I can avoid it at all, set up a timeline with our clients, because my timeline is going to go off of your timeline, off the videographer, off the photographer, off the venue, off the caterer. It's our job to work along with you for all of those moments. And like you had mentioned from the audio side, that's huge. Being able to find the right kind of DJ that you can tie your recording system into their board is a giant part of having a successful video for them, because like you said, the audio and video really go hand in hand.
Yeah. It really gets downlooked sometimes, but yeah, audio, got to be an audio engineer also. So in a way. So
how did you get into this? How did you get started with videography? I mean, where did, what drew you to it?
So I've been involved with video since high school, really. And I just always had a passion for it. I started doing, I'm a big runner, as marathon videography. There's a reason that
I always kind of wondered.
Called that.
Okay. I still like you, even though you run voluntarily. That is concerning to me, but I'll let it go.
It's so much fun, and it keeps me in shape. And well, to go off of marathon, a wedding day can be a marathon, really.
That is true.
I'm working, it's a 12-hour day.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm doing, and I'm fueling like crazy, and I'm running around and forgetting stuff and, grabbing another lens or camera. And so I compare running a lot to a wedding day. So.
Oh, yeah. It's never yes. You are 100% right, because you are constantly in motion and constantly going with everybody. I mean, between earlier in the day where you've got all of the bridesmaids on one side and you've got all the groomsmen on the other side, and you've got to capture video for both of those moments. You're going to be running between everything for everybody. So that. Massive respect. Absolutely. I think that's amazing. So what drew you to the wedding side of it? You go from video and kind of getting started. What drew you into the weddings?
Yeah. So going back, so I was kind of got started in high school, and then when I got my degree at Dordt College in Sioux Center, and I was lucky enough, my brother-in-law actually owned his own company there in Sioux Center and kind of got started there. And he was shooting weddings at the time, and I had the opportunity to second shoot with him. And the first wedding I went to with him, I wore terrible shoes and I got all scuffed up, and I was like, that really sucked, and I'm probably not going to do another wedding. And now, over 100 weddings later, I'm still doing them. So
we can all think back to our first time doing, my first DJ wedding. Probably the same thing. Wore bad shoes, so my,
Oh yeah,
yeah. Maybe bad choice of clothes. Maybe thinking in my training weddings, like, oh, what song would you play next? Oh, this one. Oh, no. That was a bad. That'd be a bad choice.
Why did I do that?
If you are in the wedding business, comfortable shoes are a must. I gave up on like dress shoes ages ago. Because my wife buys my wardrobe, so it's just easier. I don't remember last time I bought my own underwear. It maybe too much information there, but I have no idea. I honestly I'm clueless. So I tell my wife at the beginning of every wedding season I need a new pair of black tennis shoes, and I'll dress up. I'll wear dress clothes, but I'm wearing tennies because they're a lot more comfortable than dress shoes.
I got dress shoes for when people see me, but once the dance starts and I'm behind the table, I'm back into those tennis shoes. Comfort.
And then you've got Mr. Runner here, who I'm sure has a.
Oh yeah! Now I've got the most comfortable shoes and multiple pairs of them.
So when you're when you're at a wedding and it's in your situation, it's I think it's a little bit different because I think you're seeing the reception. Ooh, I can be totally cheesy. You're seeing the reception from a completely different lens than the rest of us.
Oh, I like it.
See that? Bam.
I'm out.
Thanks for coming. Have a good day. But you're really seeing it from a very different perspective than from the DJ, for example, or from a lot of the other professionals that are there. What's your favorite moment? What do you love about somebody's reception? What's your favorite part to shoot?
Just the reception or the entire day?
Let's do both. Let's go with the entire day and then we'll zoom in. I get to do it again. See?
Stop it.
I can't help it. I'm just going to drone on and on. No.
Oh, man. So my favorite, man, I don't know if I've thought about that. Probably my favorite moment is when we just get, the photographer and I just get time with the couple and it's quiet. And we just, especially I would say sunset. I guess that's about where the reception is. Mm-hmm. So we get them out of the reception. We go do sunset photos and video. And it's just a quiet moment where they can kind of reflect on their day and that kind of thing. And just, be husband and wife for a second on their wedding day. So
it is so hard to find.
It's really special.
That's perfect. Because it is so hard to find a quiet moment as the couple, because again, all of this chaos is going on, and for them to kind of step away from the moment, and for you to be able to be there and capture that moment where you can talk to them or let them just interact and almost kind of look back on everything. And the cool thing is that since you're using multiple cameras throughout the night, you're able to still capture like the chaos of the party that's going on at the same time that you can have that quiet moment with the couple. So again, you're really providing them with a full recap. It's how do I put it? It's like they can watch, they can watch their entire day removed once with your finished product. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a trailer to their wedding day. Like you get to watch a movie trailer would be about 30 seconds to a minute. Mm-hmm. So you get about an extended trailer, 10 minutes of your day. Mm-hmm. And because you don't want to watch the entire day, because that was, there's probably stressful moments. There's probably moments you don't want to remember, but we get those moments that you do want to remember. So
you ever had a couple ask for like the B-roll, like let's see the extra chaotic part? Can you get? Is there like a blooper reel or anything like that they would be able to ask for?
No blooper reels, but you can get the raw footage if you want to, and get those raw files. And
can you add the dramatic voice to it too? Like, one day, two people got married,
and then there was no cake.
I'm really excited because I had a bride and a groom. We shot it office style, kind of
like the TV show, like The Office. Oh yeah.
Yep. So we're gonna edit their wedding kind of in that style. So it won't be traditional like music and stuff. It'll hopefully be some funny moments and stuff. And that's how we shot it too. So that was a little different day shooting, because we're doing those zoom ins, and if you guys seen The Office at all, kind of documentary style. So
right. So a lot of takes to the camera, like they're talking straight kind of to you about the day.
We shot some interviews throughout the day with the bride's mom, and we did an interview with the bride and groom, all separate. And I told them, look at the camera at some points, and we kind of made some moments awkward, and yeah, it was good.
I think that's awesome. One of the things, and this has come up in every show, and it's something I will say in every future show, and because I think it's so important, is that the wedding experts that you read, online or in different wedding blogs or what have you, they're not going to tell you to do that. They're not going to tell you to do to have an office style reception on the video. That's not traditional. That's not the right trend to do it. The wedding experts for your day are your vendors, and that's why on the platform at ourstressfreewedding.com it is so important for us when we're researching the professionals that are on there, because to have someone like Jake say, yeah, let's go with that. Let's make it that moment. That couple has now made that their own. They have created their
story.
own. Yeah.
They're having fun with it.
I think that's awesome, as opposed to dictating to them, we're going to do this shot, we're going to do this shot, we're going to do this shot. Well, no, make it something that they're going to want to watch. Make it something that they're going to want to experience. Make it something that their family's going to want to watch. I think that speaks volumes to your excellence in what you do at Marathon Videography. I think that's super cool.
And there's a lot of couples that are like, oh, we want our video this way and this way. And there's some couples that are like, just go and shoot our wedding and have fun with it,
Sure.
So, and usually I can get their style if they're not like, too picky about what they're thinking for their video. But yeah, I mean, every couple's different and every story's different. So
I think that's cool. And so, talking about putting their story together. So you've got all of this raw footage from multiple cameras. Tell me your process about kind of putting that story together for them. Does the couple have a lot of input, initially, as to give you kind of an outline of how they want their day? Do they, or like you said, do they just kind of trust you to make it for them? How does that work once the wedding's done? Because you've got a lot of work after the wedding that you've got to do.
So there's a lot of things that I ask them as far as like specific shots and that kind of thing, specific details to include. So that's important. But getting to the editing in the wedding, so I'm editing. So with the one package that we do have, it is, you get your full ceremony, you get your highlights of your reception, like as they happen. So usually for the reception, it's entrances and then cake cutting if they do it right away, depending on their timeline, their toasts, their dances, and if they do like the shoe game or anything. So they get that in sequence, however it happened, however long it is, that kind of thing. And then their ceremony, just however long it is. And we mic up groom and we mic up the officiant, and we also try to get in at the church's system. So we always have backups for audio too, not just video. So I try to get as many forms of audio as I can get, and also video. And then I kind of cut between all of my cameras based on the best shot. So when I'm going in editing, I'm going through their day, their ceremony reception again, and then I can, learn about them again, and it recalls everything that happened on the day and music, and I can kind of prepare my mind for how their short is going to be put together. And those are all the videos that you see online, usually, because you won't see the long ceremony reception. That's usually just for the couple.
Sure.
If they want to go back and watch that, or maybe somebody wasn't able to make it and they want to see their ceremony. Because, they can be a half an hour to an hour long. So
have you ever done anything live? Like a ceremony?
I have done some live things. Yep. I think 2020.
Right.
Yeah, when there's a lot of people that couldn't come, I did a live stream. So that's when I would bring 5 cameras. So I'd have 4 just recording, and then I'd have 1 just for the live stream. So, and I wish I could do more for the live stream, because I would want to have multiple angles, but I've got to have those cameras for ceremony, just get through the initial edit. So
I think that's really cool.
initial coverage.
I just think one of my dreams, back in the day was, I wanted to be a director. Go to Hollywood and be a director. And I remember telling my parents, like my senior year in high school, I'm like, I want to go to school for film. And my dad's exact words were, "That's great. Then get a real degree." I'm like, "No, okay." That didn't work out so well either, actually, now that I think about it. But I love just the creativity that you put into it. I mean, I've seen your work, both the finished product on the shorts, which you can see. We've got a number of them on his listing on the platform at ourstressfreewedding.com, right?
Yep.
Andrew, who is a absolute master at creating pages for our vendors. We've got a number of his videos on there as well. You, of course, ties to his website too, where you've got even more videos available on there, so people can see what different styles you have, some different events that you have for that, to give them a good feel for your style of shooting, and kind of it almost gives them a menu to choose from for they can say, "Ooh, I like the Smith wedding that you did." I mean, have you ever had
like
couples
the style that was in, or this one was slow and romantic, and I like that style, that kind of thing.
That's awesome, because it makes it theirs,
So,
and that's so important. I love that. So most important question, can you teach me how to use Premiere editing, or do you? I'm assuming your software is infinitely more complicated, because I'm
yeah,
on.
when I come in to see you guys, we're gonna clean house. We're gonna get rid of the cameras, and we're gonna get you some good editing software and all that stuff.
I've been using Adobe Premiere, and I'm like a monkey wearing mittens trying to play piano. It is, it's just, I'm getting better.
Hey,
Ish.
I've learned a few things over, in my day, and it seems
Andrew
like
just walks by me. He's like, "Control, blah blah blah." I'm like,
click here. Yeah.
I am the worst.
So I'll go back to, you were talking about being a director.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome, because a lot of people, when I went to college, wanted to go to Hollywood and do that, be a certain thing, like director or a PA, or something on a set of a movie. But usually you're only one thing, and with my job I get to do everything. I get to
Yeah.
do the pre-wedding stuff, and I get to shoot all the stuff, and I get to edit all the stuff. I get to be a production assistant, I guess. And, I get to do all the roles, which is really, I like the variety.
You're in total control too.
Yeah,
What's
that's cool.
Yeah.
That you've got, you don't even think about that. I mean, seriously, a professional of your level, you make it look easy. I mean, you watch the videos and you're like, wow, they're smooth and they're beautiful, and your work, like the editing and the music and the transitions and just all of the stuff is absolutely gorgeous. And if you knew what was going on behind the scenes, to know the level of talent that Jake has for this, I mean. There is so much, even with us, for as limited and high tech as this show is. Hello, episode 10. How many times have we had to, redo a promo, redo takes, and
absolutely.
stuff like that? It's mind blowing, and to know the level of ability that you have. Now, you had mentioned, so you went to school for film.
Yeah, my major was digital media, so it wasn't just focused on like doing movies and such, but I would say that was mostly the main focus of a lot of people there. But I wanted to do, I did a couple of projects in sports, and I love sports, and I love running and all that kind of stuff too. But yeah, I really enjoyed weddings, and I don't think a lot of people can do it. And it is a really tough job. You're working on the weekends, you are working 12-hour days, and a lot of people can't do that. And I felt like I had, a lot of stamina to do it. And it's not all about just the fancy camera gear. It's about, can you handle a wedding day?
Yeah. Oh, you're so right. I mean, I have seen so many bad videographers. You know, and it's sad because they give professionals like yourself a bad name because everybody just automatically, oh, you don't need a videographer because cousin Bob can record it.
I got an iPhone.
Buy 3 or 4 GoPros and just set them up in the back and
Right.
Call it good,
Right. And
but then you have to think about audio. Like, are you going to be able to hear? Are you going to, we can just record it with our iPhone. Again, audio.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get close up? No, probably not with an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and this from the wedding we did together, holding an iPad in the air just looks kind of obnoxious, just click.
man.
Yeah.
No,
That's
there's
a whole other thing. Having an unplugged wedding is really important too for us because it makes for photographer and videographer, it just makes our job a lot easier, and people aren't in the way. It makes our shots look really nice.
unplugged. Explain that. Having an unplugged wedding. What does that mean?
Unplugged, just having your phones put away, turned off during ceremony. So a lot of brides and grooms have been doing that lately, but usually people don't follow it. And I would say during receptions, it's just kind of like, oh, we've got our phones out, especially the first dances, they want to get that picture. I've had multiple shots ruined because there's somebody, aunt, whoever has their phone up in the air and
right in front of your
I've
camera.
got this really nice shot. It's like, oh, dang it. I gotta move now.
Yep.
Oh, I can't move there because that person's in the way, or,
I know one thing we always promote with Ultimate Entertainment, knowing the level and the caliber of photographers and videographers that we work with, I always make it a priority to let guests know, hey, let the professionals get their shots
I say
first.
That every wedding, let them get their shots.
It's so important, and not even for your sake, for the convenience sake, but even more just considering how much the couple is paying to have someone like you there and having their photographer there, having those experts there. You have to respect that part of it too. I mean, that needs to be factored in.
Yeah.
And so, we always announce, hey, let them do their jobs first, and then the couple will be happy to pose for what throw the couple under the bus on that moment. Like, oh, you're gonna have to smile and cut the cake again. Sorry, Aunt Jean needs her, little camera up there, and she's got to capture her moment. But it's so important to have you guys have that first, so the couple gets the quality that they absolutely deserve to have for their big day.
Yeah, it's hard to monitor that too, because these weddings can get huge,
right?
And it's like, oh, can you control 500 people with their cell phones and that kind of thing? But I have seen during the ceremonies, they take like a second or 15 seconds. Hey, everyone, get out your phones, take a picture, and then put them away. So, which I think helps a little bit. But hopefully they keep them put away. So
right. Well, announcing it at least gets it in their head. And you're always gonna get the people that are gonna sneak. That's not one you're gonna beat. But by having them announce that, having the DJ announce it, hey, put your phones away. The couple has requested, and when you throw that caveat in there, the couple's got the power. Our bride has requested that you put away your cameras, and if the bride says it, what's rule number 1?
What the bride wants, the bride gets.
Exactly. So we push that out at them as hard as we can. Absolutely.
And that goes back to how many cameras I have. Like, that's why I have so many angles and cameras. So if somebody's getting in the way with their iPhone, then I have another angle.
Yeah. So, well, and that makes a huge difference in that, because you are getting, you're getting different varieties to choose from. So if someone stands in front of one, you've got 4 other ones that are available. Plus, you've got the camera that you're using. So what do you use, personally, during the reception or during the ceremony? Do you have a dedicated camera, a different dedicated style that you're carrying to capture those moments? What's your process for kind of the live camera, I guess?
Okay. So, well, usually I'm running around to all my cameras if I can. But usually I'll be on a gimbal most of the day, which pretty much keeps my camera steady and gets those nice smooth shots that you see in a lot of my videos. Because that's kind of my style, and I really like using that. We can shoot handheld, but I try not to, and our cameras can handle that because they have stabilization in them. But it's really important to not have that shaky footage. But usually I'll be on that most of the day. But sometimes I'll put my gimbal down and run over to the other camera, and I might be running around during a ceremony, but I do it very quietly. Just double checking my shots because I'm very thorough, and I make sure like everything looks good, or somebody might have changed position on stage, or that kind of thing. So I got to move this camera, and I'll have a second shooter also, usually helping me move cameras around. And it makes it a little bit more hectic with that many cameras, but like I said before, I like to have my angles. Right. And I think it's very important. So,
well, it is, because you are capturing the most important day of a couple's life. And
there's
so
only one take.
Right.
One take.
Usually.
Yeah.
That is the rule for all of us. Yep. You get
take.
one shot. It's not like you can say, oh, let's just try it again on Monday. Like, hold on, back up. Can everybody say I do again for me? I forgot to hit play.
I left the lens cap on.
Yeah. I haven't done that yet.
This is embarrassing, but the first time Andrew and I started this, the first show we did, it was an hour, right? You and I did, or 45 minutes. It was a while. We do the whole show, and we're high-fiving each other, like, oh yeah, this went really great. And then we hit the playback and realized that the microphones right here in front of us weren't recording. All of the audio came off of our super high-tech, slightly embarrassing cameras that we're using. So everything sounded like this. And and let's try that again, this time with the microphone.
It's very deflating.
Oh,
man,
painful.
Take two.
So that was our take two moment.
Take three, take four.
But you know what? You're talking about when you're running around, kind of checking all the cameras and checking all the shots. I can attest, and you've worked with Jake too. This guy is on the move. And again, going to the difference between a professional or an idiot with a camera. And trust me, when you're looking on, you're going to do your searches. I get it. You're going to look on Facebook. Who's the best videographer? No, my cousin Steve does it. There is a huge difference between a professional of Jake's level and your cousin Steve.
You're going to get what you pay for.
You are 100% going to get what you pay for. Absolutely. So what would you say, as an expert in your field, what should be the biggest question a couple asks of a videographer? When they're shopping and trying to make decisions, what's the biggest thing they should look for in their videographer?
Well, going back, I think one of the big things is, can you tell our story? That's the big thing that they should ask me. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I've got multiple cameras and all this drone, and I'm going to capture everything possible. Like, I'm not going to leave a stone unturned. So if there's something that happens on your wedding, I will be there to capture it, or my second shooter will be there to capture it. If I could have 4 people shooting the entire day, I would. But some of that's just not feasible, which stinks. But
that would get you'd get really expensive. As ideal as that would be, but I've seen the way that you place your cameras, and you bring lights too. It's not just the cameras. You bring really it's like you're bringing an entire studio to their day to make sure that the lighting is right, to make sure that the angles are right, to make sure that the cameras are all capturing what they need to capture. I mean, like you said, you're wearing every hat that someone at a production company would be wearing. You are the audio guy, you're the video guy, you're the lighting guy, you're all the guys. But that, to me, shows your dedication to your craft. It shows your level of excellence. It shows that you are there to make that couple's day amazing. And the coolest thing about what you do is that the couple they're able to go back for the rest of their lives and relive those moments. And I think that's awesome. I have met so many couples, married couples, that people that like Ultimate Entertainment worked with over the years, and then you run into them years later, and I'll ask them, hey, do you still have your pictures up? Do you still watch your wedding video? And a lot of them will say no, because they made a snap decision based on budget, based on pricing, based on their best friend's roommate's ex-boyfriend. I don't know, all of these factors that they, well, my friend had a camera in college, and that's who we had for our pictures, and my buddy had a video camera, so he did the videography. And have you watched any of them since? Well, once.
Yeah.
No, you're giving them a product that they're going to be able to look at for the rest of their lives. And trust me, go to ourstressfreewedding.com, look up Marathon Videography. Look at the videos that are there. Go to his website from our platform and look at the videos that are there. This is something that you are going to want to watch over and over again throughout your lives. This is you can bring it out on your anniversary and relive your moment. And stuff like that, I think, is huge, because we're so inundated with moments throughout the day, throughout just regular life, that you forget the special moments. And your job is capturing those moments so they can go back and they can reflect on them, and they can enjoy them, and they can relive them. I mean, I think that's huge.
I think it's going to be so special in like when all of my brides and grooms are having their 50th anniversary, and they can pull up their video and show everybody, and they can relive that. I mean, 50, their 50th is crazy, and it's a long time, but, and to show their kids and, how much they loved each other on that day, and the decision that they made and the vows that they made is so special, and the words and the notes and what they were thinking that day and all that stuff.
Yes. But you're so right. And I think that it's so true, and it's so awesome. And the only way you are going to be able to relive those moments is if you hire a professional of Jake's level. I mean, Marathon Videography is somebody that we've worked with. Jake, I can't count the number of weddings. It's like we run it. There was a span there. It's like every other week. It's like, oh, we work with Jake again. either with me or with one of the guys at Ultimate Entertainment. Like, oh, we work with Jake. But it's knowing that you're working with the right professionals, and that's what comes back to the core of ourstressfreewedding.com. We do the research to find the right people to make your day amazing. And I think that speaks volumes to what impacts your wedding, right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Good.
Just with when you
sure.
pick vendors from Our Stress Free Wedding, you can rely on them. It's one less thing to worry about. When you pick the vendors that we have researched and vetted, you know that you're covered for your day.
Yeah, they're going to take care of you. And one of the kind of the safety measures that we've built into the platform actually is if one of our wedding pros don't live up to those expectations, we're not afraid to take them off. There is an accountability that needs to be held. There's a standard. Like Jake said, you only get one take. You only have one opportunity to get this day right from the beginning. Whether it's your officiant, whether it's your venue, whether it's your caterer, all of them. You've only got one chance to get it right, and that's one of the biggest challenges in this business is that you run into way too many of them that are like,
Phoning it in.
yeah, I got paid. Whatever. They don't care. I still, it's funny. I still get nervous before weddings that I do. And my wife gives me crap all the time. She's like, you are as old as the parents. You've been doing this longer than that couple's been alive. Why are you nervous about it? And it's because I know that every action I take during that day impacts that couple's day. It's how we announce them. It's how we work with the other vendors. It's tying in like Jake's sound system, a recording system, into our sound system to make sure that their video goes the way it's supposed to go. There's, if you're not nervous before somebody's wedding in the wedding industry, you shouldn't be in the wedding industry. And it's not like the paralyzing kind of nervous, but it's, I don't know, concern. It's, I don't know, maybe there's a better word than nervous. But
it's like being nervous before a race. Like I would say, like I always get nervous for races, even though I've run the race, hundreds of times.
See,
you still get those little nerves
in your stomach.
I can honestly tell you, if I was in a race, I would not be nervous. That's one thing I would not be nervous about.
Because you know where you're gonna finish.
I know,
or not finish.
I know. Let's put it this way: when the zombie apocalypse comes, I might as well just stand still and wait. I'm not outrunning anybody.
There you go. Just got to outrun Sean. That's it.
I can't say it. No, because there's a joke that we can set up within Entertainment, but we can't. We can't say it. We can't do it. No.
Going back to what makes me different than other videographers. If you are, it shows through the work, I think, first of all, because I was thinking about that, and I don't have a lot of couples be like, oh, do you have this and this and this? They can see the drone stuff. They can, if they watch enough, they can see, oh, he gets multiple angles because he's cutting between 3 things at once, with one thing going on, and there's no way they're doing multiple takes. So, and then you can hear the good audio from when they're shooting letters and stuff. So if you see a videographer just, you see one angle and the audio is not, maybe it's just music, then that's a red flag. Right. I think.
Oh, huge. Absolutely. So one of the biggest things, if you're researching a videographer, and I strongly recommend videography for your wedding, I really do. It is money well spent if you spend it on the right videographer. And Jake from Marathon Videography is definitely someone that you would be spending money in the right way.
And like this, sorry, he was showing a video and it showed what my 4 angles were on that, about that last 20 seconds of that video.
The one that's playing right now? Hang on, I can go back. Let me go back to it.
You back up 20 seconds or so. You can see their vowels. I'll go a little bit forward. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I love that. And even just the editing that you've got within that, the transitions is fantastic. So, you can tell it's not just you and the camera, that there's so much more that's there. And you said, like, with the vowels, we're able to get kind of multi-angles on that.
Yep. Hold on, it's coming up here.
Okay.
Pretty soon.
I believe you.
I think you can full screen that if you want to.
We tried it, and our system keeps bumping it back to this for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. It's being a little
okay.
Try it now
touchy.
and see. Try it now and see.
All right, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see what happens.
To the audio listeners, this is fantastic.
Oh, hey, it worked. Yep, there we go.
So you can even see one of our cameras in the shots, which I don't like to do, but. So I'm standing up at the front right now. I've got that shot. So we have the groom shot.
And he's got his mic on. Yep,
we got the bride shot.
And clearly you're not running between the two of them. So you know that it's multiple cameras that are taking care of that.
There's another wide shot right there. And we got that shot right there. So.
Fantastic.
And that's especially important during the vows. I can get his reaction while she's talking and vice versa. So
I love it. It's just gorgeous work. It just is just fantastic. That bride looked kind of familiar. I think that's one that we did together. She looked familiar.
One of the 50 weddings that I've done with Ultimate Entertainment.
Which is great. We'll take it. You're welcome anytime to be to work with us, man. It's a blast. This has been awesome, and I know Jake was gracious enough to come on the show with us for the taping today. He was going to come in live, but you're crazy busy with editing and with deadlines, and you were nice enough to take time out of your day to sit and chat with us. And man, I really appreciate it. I think this is great information for couples.
I love working with you guys. It's always great to work with you at weddings because I know everything's going to be okay because I'm with Sean.
I feel the same way.
He's going to do a great job.
I walk in and say, "Oh, there's Jake."
Thank you.
What's that?
I said, when I walk in and see Jake, I'm like, he's going to do a great job.
Honestly,
we know it.
It's vendors working together. It's professionals working together. And that makes such a big difference. We touched on this, I think, a little bit on the last show too. Part of what we're doing and kind of evolving with at ourstressfreewedding.com is we're taking the vetting process, the selection process of finding the right wedding pros across the state. And we're taking it a step further because now by having the pros on that we have, we can go to someone like Jake in the Charles City area and say, hey, such and such a venue or, such and such a DJ from your market wants to join the platform. You've worked with them before. What do you think? And by having even further input from other pros that are on the platform, combined with the research that we do, is just taking one step farther into removing the "gosh, I hope they don't suck" factor. We need to get shirts for that. I think that would be a fun shirt. Gosh, I hope they don't suck.
You get that one, and I'll get one that says "like and subscribe."
Like and subscribe. Which, by the way, if you like the show, what should you do?
Please like and subscribe.
Please.
And share.
Yes, you should.
Because sharing is caring.
Jake, you've been a blast, my friend. Thank you so much. We're not going to take up any more of your time. I know you're crazy busy. This has been an absolute pleasure. Hey, you've been watching hey, thanks, man. Thank you. You've been watching the Our Stress Free Wedding TV show, is what we're calling it, commercial free.
Yeah.
How can you go wrong with that?
No, I got a commercial. I'm gonna bring one up. No.
We'll make it commercial free to we'll eventually create like a gold package or something like
right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be the My Pillow guy. Check out this pillow right here. I'm just giving you a fair warning. You're lucky. Hey, if you like the show, please like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. You're going to be able to watch this if you're watching it on YouTube, or if you caught it on Facebook, you can watch it also on either ourstressfreewedding.com or altentertainment.cc. We have the videos on both of the platforms. Your opportunity to reach out, and if you really like what you see, reach out to Jake at Marathon Videography. Go to ourstressfreewedding.com. All you have to do is go to his listing, and there's no obligation. He's not going to, you're not going to, oh, you're booked, you're stuck. No. What we want to do is we want to provide information to you as much as possible. So there is multiple ways through the platform. If you're doing it on mobile, you can just hit a button and connect with them right from there. If you're doing it on your desktop, you can just scroll right down to contact us. Send them a message. Or if you're on the platform, you can hit them through the messaging system. So there's all kinds of ways to reach out. It's as simple as that. You guys have been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for watching the show, and you have a stress-free day.